echo inside Parliament, also in the Supreme Court. Today, the two girls who were paraded naked, they approached the Supreme Court and they said that they didn't have faith in the CBI investigation. They didn't want the investigation to be handed over to the Assam administration. Supreme Court has told the center and the state to come back to the apex court tomorrow with a mechanism, with a larger mechanism to evolve some kind of a framework which protects the women in the state. Now, one should remember that a delegation of the opposition leaders had gone to Manipur. They visited the relief camp. They met the governor, and they asked the governor to apprise the center about the complete breakdown of the law and order. That delegation has returned back. They apprised the members of the India Alliance, the ones who did not go to Manipur. And one of the members from that delegation was Gaurav Gogoi, who was a Lok Sabha member of Parliament from Assam. Gaurav is there with us on the Federal today, and we'll try and discuss with him all what happened there when he met the victims. Thank you so much, Gaurav, for joining on the Federal. And my first question to you is that what is your feeling after you have returned from Manipur, and what are the things that the people really shared with you all?
Well, Nilu, I felt quite disturbed because I'm from the Northeast, and I've never seen any state in the Northeast suffer so much as the people in Manipur have over the past 3 months. Right. What the people told me in relief camps and told the members of our group are just stories of brutality, stories of inhumanity, stories which is very hard to even repeat. We saw visuals, we saw reports, which are quite painful. And I must say that we come back with a sense of anguish and with a sense of purpose, that the experiences and the suffering of the people of Manipur should resonate inside Parliament, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the government through discussion should outline their roadmap to restore peace and normalcy in Manipur.
Right. But you met the governor as well, Anasuya Uike, and what is the kind of assurance you have got from her? Because people say that if you all say that there is a complete breakdown of the law and order and president rule is the only solution, has she given you some kind of an assurance that whether she's going to write to the center about the president rule?
Well, Nilu, in my personal opinion, we feel that right now it is important that the chief minister should be removed.
Okay.
Because we feel that he has played a very important role as in this present conflict. The stories that were told by us, we met the two women who were attacked by a mob, and they said it was happening right in front of the police. That mob attack did not happen within a matter of minutes. It took time. Surely there was enough time for the police to send, the report of what is going on to the highest authorities and wait for instructions. But no instructions came. We have heard of mobs which went about burning down homes. Surely when the central police forces are there, the central armed forces are there, they have enough time to report to the higher authorities and seek instructions as to how to dispel the mob before things take an ugly turn, and they did not get any instructions. So I really feel that the two key people who have failed, A is the chief minister of Manipur and B is the Union Home Minister. But we did speak to the governor. She commended on the purpose of the India delegation to visit Manipur, to meet with the victims, to express our solidarity in their time of grief. And both the governor and we agreed that it should not be only the opposition parties visiting Manipur. It should be all parties, including parties belonging to the ruling NDA alliance, that we should come to Manipur, meet with civil society organizations, appeal to everyone to let go of hate, let go of anger, and come back to a place where we can have a conversation and rebuild Manipur again.
You were saying that the two key people who are responsible for whatever has happened is the Home Minister and the Chief Minister. And the center, the approach of the center, if you talk about, they are not ready to hear anything against Biren Singh, neither are they ready to hear anything against Amit Shah, of course, and for reasons very, very obvious. So where does the buck stop now? Who's going to really answer? How's the accountability going to be fixed?
Well, for a party which speaks about protecting India's national security and territorial integrity, this party seems to be failing, because here is a conflict which is becoming a breeding ground for external threats to come in and deepen the divide in the Northeast. I've stated that these tensions are spreading to neighboring states like Assam, Mizoram, Meghalaya. This kind of environment creates a breeding ground for all insurgent groups in the Northeast who have suspended their military operations to pick up arms again and create a narrative which attracts disaffected young people as fresh recruits to their organization, starting an endless wave of violence. So it has gone beyond mere accountability. This has serious ramifications for our national security. It has the ability to push back Northeast by decades. Already the relations between the two communities, the Kuki and Meitei community, are such that it will take decades to heal. So it is gone beyond accountability. It has become an imperative for our national security, for the government, for the Prime Minister, and for all parties to step in before things become far worse.
People who are there, especially the activists with whom we have been in touch, we've done a number of panel discussions. They say that Biren Singh will never be removed because he's almost like a messiah for the Meiteis. And that's a very well-planned, strategized move, which, and it's actually some kind of a long-term agenda, which is being perpetuated by BJP. Do you see anything of that sort playing out in Manipur?
Well, I do see a political design. As I said, the Chief Minister is implementing a political design. But, Niluji, had it been Vajpayee's BJP, they would have prioritized national security over political goals. It is unfortunately Modi's and Amit Shah's BJP that is prioritizing political goals over the dignity of Manipuri women, over the life of Manipuri young people, over the integrity of the Northeast. It's quite unfortunate. Politics will thrive in an environment of hate, but when that hate threatens to destabilize the Northeast, I think politics needs to take a step back, politicians need to take a step back, and statesmen need to come forward.
But do you think that it's really going to help BJP politically by cultivating so much of hate, by cultivating a communal atmosphere, by cultivating so much of animosity? Is BJP really going to gain politically out of it?
Well, if you look at any election campaign, and you look at the language of the BJP, it is a language that breeds hate. It is a language that breeds envy. It is a language that paints one section of Indian society as the enemy, whether that's a tribe, whether that's a religion, whether that's a caste. Unfortunately, there is politics in which hate can be used as a weapon. But India Alliance, the alliance that we've come, we believe in a united Manipur. We believe in a united Northeast. We believe in a united India, where as per Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's constitution, we are all equal citizens. We are all equal under the eyes of God. We are all equal under the eyes of law.
Right. What about the normalcy situation? Tushar Mehta had submitted an affidavit to the Supreme Court initially when the petition was filed. He said that things are returning to normal. The government is working on it quickly. Now, all those claims seem to have been belied, and what is your feeling? Are the things really returning to normal when normalcy? Because when you spoke to the women, the children, you spoke to a large section of people over there. Do you think that the things are returning to normalcy at all?
Well, firstly, I believe that the government is misleading the Honorable Court.
Okay.
If things were normal in Manipur, internet would be restored and people would be able to communicate to each other. People would be able to access information. People would be able to share their news and their experiences. Internet is banned still, and people are cut off from rest of India and cut off from communicating with their near and dear ones. They are people who are living in relief camps and they have no way to find out if any members of their family have survived and where are they, because they cannot access the internet. Secondly, if things were normal, universities would be functioning as before, but they're not. Classes are still not being conducted properly. Many students fear to return to Manipur University. Many medical students that we have met, they fear that they cannot study in their original university and they're looking for options. If things were normal, people would no longer be in relief camps. They would all be back in their villages, rebuilding their homes, but they're not. They're still in relief camps. They do not feel safe enough to return to their homes. And whose responsibility is to provide that safety and security? It is that of the central government and the state government. There are people who feel, where is the justice? What in terms of the property that they have lost, in terms of the attacks that they have felt. There's a huge sense of injustice that people feel. And most importantly, there's a deep-rooted animosity which has occupied the hearts of people belonging to all communities. And we cannot have a divided Manipur. We cannot have a people of Manipur, living in the hills, a people of Manipur living in the valley, and the army acting as a LOC, as a border patrolling force. That is not normalcy. So we have a long way to go before normalcy can be achieved. And the step starts with all political parties coming together, having a discussion, and the Prime Minister outlining as to what his government plans to do in order to restore peace and dialogue in Manipur.
When your delegation was going to Manipur, on the second day, there were BJP spokespersons who said that these opposition, the India Alliance people who have gone to Manipur, they are on a political tourism. This was the comment which came from the BJP spokespersons and the political supporters of BJP. What would you really say to that?
Well, I think they're all acting as bouncers for the Prime Minister, because the real question is, why is the Prime Minister not in Manipur? Why is Rahul Gandhi in Manipur? Why could Rahul Gandhi go to Manipur? Why could India delegation go to Manipur? And why is the Prime Minister not going to Manipur and instead going to Rajasthan, inaugurating a trade center in Delhi and hugging foreign leaders abroad? And I think it is to shield the Prime Minister from such tough questions that his union ministers and chief ministers are acting as bouncers, so that we don't ask these questions of the Prime Minister, so that the cameras don't ask these questions of the Prime Minister, these questions which might be uncomfortable for the Prime Minister, and they're trying to divert the attention. So to my simple reply is, you may call us whatever you wish to, but go and see the ground reality for yourself. Go and meet the people at least. Tell them what you want, what you have in mind, so that they can start their lives again. It doesn't matter to me what ministers call us alliance. We are doing our responsibility. We are with the people at their time of grief. We want the leadership of the Prime Minister. We want peace to be returned, and we want our nation to be strong and secure.
What is the solution when you don't have a debate inside Parliament? The ruling party is running away from the debate, citing different rules, whether it should be a short duration discussion or it should be a long duration discussion. There's a total stalemate in Parliament. You have a Supreme Court hearing, which is also on. We do not know what the Supreme Court will really do, whether it will direct the government on things which are concrete. Where do you think does the solution lie? And why I'm asking you this question is because these questions are being thrown at a government which is known for its shameless brazenness. What do you think is the solution when you have a government like that?
In the history of ethnic conflicts in India or across the world, there cannot be a solution without political leadership, without political statesmanship. Because who will the people listen to? If you want people to give up arms, who will they listen to? They do not trust the state police. They do not trust the central armed forces. They do not trust the political leaders in the state. Who will they listen to? Surely the man who a year and a half ago campaigned for his party in the Manipur State Assembly elections, promised a double-engine sarkar that will give development and growth, and the people responded to that campaign. People voted for that party. Surely it is his responsibility, and that is the responsibility of a prime minister. A prime minister is not there to just make speeches at government functions and at political rallies. It is a tough job. And this is where the character and of the prime minister shows. And this is the test that he has to pass. But he's not alone. As I said, India Alliance parties are there. We want people to heal. And whether it's Rahul Gandhi ji, whether it's our chief ministers, we are all there to support the prime minister if he really wants to make a sincere effort to bring about peace. But as you said, this prime minister and this BJP cares more about their image than actually the interests of national security. And that is unfortunate. Had it been Vajpayee or BJP, they would have taken the lead. They would have followed their Raj Dharma. But this prime minister inaugurates the Kartavya Path in Delhi, but forgets his own Kartavya to the people of Manipur.
Gaurav, when there's so much of trust deficit, are we going to expect that this monsoon session will also be headed towards a clear washout? What it looks like?
Well, we are still trying. Neelu, we are taking one day at a time. We pressed upon the Honorable Speaker today that the no confidence motion has been admitted. And instead of discussing it, this government is passing bills. Bills were passed during an admittance of a no confidence motion is unconstitutional and illegal. They do not have the validity of the parliament because the no confidence motion has been admitted. The parliament expresses a lack of confidence in the Union Council of Ministers. So all these bills are being illegal. And it has never happened in the history of India when all these no confidence motions have been discussed, that the government of the day passes bills instead of discussing the no confidence motion. It is happening for the very first time in the history of India that this government is passing bills instead of discussing a no confidence motion.
On one of the panel discussions, I did raise this question to one of the BJP spokespersons, and they said that, we are following the rules by the book. So if we are following the rules, then why are you talking about conventions? This was a statement coming from a BJP spokesperson. Now, what would you really say?
Look to your own history. Vajpayee ji, when he lost his no confidence motion by 1 vote, knew what the numbers were. He could have delayed it, but he did not. He could have passed bills which were suited his political objectives, but he didn't. It was a vote of no confidence. It was admitted. He lost and he resigned. Similarly, there have been many vote of no confidence during the era of Pandit Narasimha Rao, even in 2018, when Narendra Modi ji was the prime minister. Yet they have not done what they're doing now. This is only being done, as I said, in order to dilute Manipur issue. And after the fact that we have all visited Manipur, has really captured people's imagination, and media agencies like yours are still doing the right form of journalism. And that's why government, instead of understanding that we're not against it, to really take the challenge by its horns and come forward with a solution. Because as I said, Manipur is India, India is Manipur. When Manipur is divided, India is divided. When Manipur is unstable, India is unstable. When Manipur's internal security is at risk, then India's internal security is at risk.
Right. My last question to you, Gaurav, if Manipur hasn't moved Narendra Modi, what else would move him?
I think that's a question that only he can answer. I've said this before, that Mr. Modi had the time to visit all the places in the world, come back and visit all the places in the country. But if he had space in his heart, he would have visited Manipur. Any other leader would have expressed regret. He's not even expressed regret. Any other leader would have gone to Manipur. And it is not as if Mr. Modi has not done so in the past. When there was a train tragedy in Balasore, he did visit.
Did go, yes.
So it is clearly a political calculation by the Prime Minister that when people know him as a verbose Prime Minister, as someone who has the gift of oratory, as someone who is very visible, whether on the ground or on social media, as someone who brands himself as being the first Prime Minister to travel so consistently to the Northeast, as someone who prides himself on working 24/7, 365 days, it is a political calculation that his image is more important than the nation. And he should realize that his silence is not as silent as he thinks. It is very loud, and people of India, his voters, the BJP party workers, are seeing how loud and voluble his silence is.
Were you able to assess the undercurrent, the political undercurrent, that is the Northeast really, is BJP really losing the grip from the Northeast? If it does, if this Manipur incident is having a trickle effect on other Northeastern states?
You would see, Neelu, for yourself, no major political party comprising of in the NEDA, in the BJP's Northeast Democratic Alliance, is supporting the BJP. The NPP is not supporting the Chief Minister of Manipur. Their ally in Mizoram is not supporting the Chief Minister. There has been no prominent leader of the BJP from Northeast who has come out and supported the Chief Minister. In fact, his own Union Minister, Ranjan Singh, of MOS External Affairs, has claimed on camera that it's a failure of law and order. So his own party are admitting that it's a complete failure. And credit to them that they are, through their silence also, the BJP and their allies, MPs who are from the Northeast, through their silence, are voicing their form of protest and their disappointment with the role of the Chief Minister.
Well, all eyes now would be on the Supreme Court hearing tomorrow, which resumes at 2 p.m. on Manipur. Thank you so much, Gaurav Gogoi, for joining on The Federal. One appeal to the viewers who are watching this